Guys, I wanted to do a real-time video. A lot of people are slow. A lot of people aren't in current. They're not like up to date. So BandLab is putting out commercials on YouTube to discredit anybody who said anything about their programs. Why is this refreshing for me in Oxygen? Because you got people who want to talk about things and they want to tell a verified company. You know, you have to sit. Like I got like 60% like confusion, and you know what I mean. Let's say the NCAA wants to come out on television and say, yo, we're going to talk about Division I, Division II, Division III on First Take for like a year. You know, just talk about it. Like who are the leading coaches? Like, you know, they're going to talk about it because that's their profession. I don't know why they haven't done. I'm getting angry. Why haven't they done that? We just wanted to talk about, you know, football and sports. Let's say the girls do it. You know what I mean? We're going to show people some of the football's history, you know what I mean? They could do it, and they could say, you know, these schools here were known for this and that. It could do it in a day, and it would correct people in real time on television. My school would be featured, or they could, you know, put it on TV like the best programs and talk about all of them for like an hour or something. Everyone talks about it in real time. They tell everyone to. But BandLab, this is why I'm like really excited for like my spread of authenticity. I spent a lot of time strategizing how I wanted my music to spread. So I've been like kind of like snaked a little bit, but this is the thing. BandLab is a verified company and a verified business. So I don't know if they're doing a merger with Facebook, but it's only a matter of time until something big says that it's worth something for real, and you would have to go off what that person says. So if someone tried to discredit the technology I'm using, they're just going to come out and say, this is verified. We put out commercials. I'm rich, you know, and this guy isn't as rich as me. So think of BandLab like if someone wanted to say, you're only going off Microsoft Word, we're going to exchange letters, and Facebook is stupid, and everyone who uses Facebook is an idiot, and everyone who thinks that Facebook makes money is a flippin' idiot. And in today's time, you see the contrast of like this, you know, Mark Zuckerberg and his family are safe with the money he's able to, you know, and not only that, like he bailed out a whole bunch of companies or whatever, and he's probably multi-charity, giving too much money, to be honest with you. Just send it in crypto and send it to them. They won't even use it. They always wait, you know. The point of what I'm getting to is that it's like BandLab is like telling, like me, think of BandLab's like Facebook, except it's not Facebook. So it's a tool. So when people come to me and they're like, you can't use this type of, you know, Crayola marker or this type of stylus, that's what I'm using. It's just a stylus. So when people said, oh, it's bad because you're using this, I want you to know they're going to put out spreads defending themselves, but they should do it every day. And they're going to say, this is the program that we're using. But think of BandLab as Facebook. You're just saying the wrong information, and it turns out the people that are using it are making a lot of money. So think of BandLab, it's not Facebook, but think of it like a social media platform that's multiple purposes. This isn't even a commercial. I'm just breaking it down while I'm using it. It's like it's better than MySpace. Like it's a community. It's predestined. If you download it, it was your decision to be on it, and it's pleasantful. You're not getting snakes. You're not getting robots. You're not getting a whole bunch of people sitting here degrading you. It's a choice to be on it. It's legitimately a choice to be on that platform. It's a legitimate choice and decision to listen to music on that platform. And from what I'm hearing, the music sounds better, and I'm sure they can make a better one. But the music it's full. Like you're getting a really good sound. Like it even beats SoundCloud, which I'm like surprised by. You know, they should have made They should have made SoundCloud like this because it's a decision to be on it. You're not. Everyone's like, oh, we're forced to. See, that's the problem. You're not forced to be on SoundCloud. So BandLab is another like decision. You're invited to BandLab. You're invited to listen to people's music on there, and they're verified artists on there. So it's another place to listen to their music. That's it. I'm right, and the more you guys argue with my narrative, the more confusing it's going to be. We have rights in the United States of America. Rights meaning stuff that the government can't even tell me to do without getting thrown out of office. What does this mean? If you trust the system, it'll works. Copyright means that I own something. So I have rights in music, which means they can't tell me I can't do it. I have the right to ownership. I have the right to put out my side, put out as many as I want. That's what it is. And if people say, oh, you're supposed to do this for shows, I'm explaining it for people. You guys are not letting me spread that I'm a 26 right now. That I'm 26, like I'm growing up. You know, I'm 26 right now. Like I'm growing up. Like as I'm making this video, like I'm a grown man. So when people look at it, I've only lived like a quarter of my life, but like people aren't taking the criticism of you have to pay people to get people to do what you want them to do. So when people say do shows, like they haven't even invited me and they haven't even paid me to do it. So they're wrong for even opening up their mouth about thinking I'm gonna walk in there. They haven't asked me. So when people say I have to go and perform, I don't have to do anything. And I really like you guys to stop confusing Hollywood, makeup, and movie magic with someone actually sitting down and having his own style. What do I mean by style? I'm like a band. I'm really using instruments and using producers that sit down and make real instruments. Like, you could perform these songs and tracks. Like, I was behind a computer, like, and I know people are like, oh, give him credit. I orchestrated this stuff, man. Like, I made Next to You. I orchestrated that. I made Down. I orchestrated that. Like, let's just say, like, it's just as sophisticated as you think. I'm sitting there trying to, create rhythms and patterns and stuff, just like rocket science. I made Del Valle. Used to be called Dance, it's now Del Valle. Give commercial, because American Dad is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and Second Father is my favorite men of all time. And I'm like, dude, I'm orchestrating. Like, it's not, like, I know people go, Isaiah, we're just there for the entertainment. I just want you to know, like, I orchestrated it. The No Trap Zone, I orchestrated. Yes, Scope Part 2, I orchestrated that. Just like a symphony, I orchestrated that. Fifth Avenue, I orchestrated that. I actually came up with that, like, for real. The beats that I did, I orchestrated that. What If, I orchestrated, I wrote that. Like, I wrote it. It's like Eminem's music. It's like, it's more than just an MC. You're actually painting a picture. And you're trying to convey a message. So it's like, when I'm gone, like, I'm orchestrating this stuff. So when people say, oh, if you're orchestrating it, you're right every time. That's just simply like, we're using real instruments, guys. We can play our music in front of you, and is it still bad? That's the only reason why they're letting me do music, because I can sit here on a piano and I can play anything that I put out. And they'll be like, oh, that's not true. See, so I must not know music. Then I could put out all these songs, and I don't know how to make a guitar version. I'm on camera playing guitar, guys. I'm on camera. Like, I can't wait to go back to Wittenberg and play piano and play these songs for you. Like, what if you're falling, would you catch me? Like, I can play that on piano. And eventually, with the grace of the internet, you're actually going to be able to see me in real time. I know people are iffy. You're going to see me in real time rise, and I'm used to the 50-50 polarity of hate and love, but you're going to see me rise in the sense where you're going to see other musicians spin off this stuff. And it's not generic, like, oh, we want you to reproduce the sound of the No Trap Zone and his Pandora song, because that's originally why I did music. I'm sitting behind a computer, and I'm like, I feel insulted because you can do so much, and I haven't even touched my potential. They're like, I want you to sit down here and just show me, like, something new. Like, and I'm like, that sound, like that Best Day song, I had that. That's the No Trap Zone. Like, that's the same thing. The same sound. So I'm not done with that. That's a sound. That's one chapter. Like, that's one sound. Like, so.
How you doing tomorrow?
I'm doing good.
Good.
How are you?
All right.
And so that's kind of like why I'm really excited, because I see, like, giving me commercials. See Disney and all that stuff. I'm your friend at Marvel. The reason why I did it like this is I wanted a more of a fate spread, because it is predestined. So the thing I wanted people to acknowledge is this: it didn't matter if you put out songs on a digital store, or you put them into a website, or you put them out for free. You're going to make the same amount of money off your music every time, because you have shows and you have the fan base that can give you Patreon. After year 9 or 10, that's when they said that people start. This is what they said online when I first started, because I was curious back when I was in high school. If I ever wanted to go on YouTube, I was like 16. I want to know how much they're making on YouTube. I was curious. I'm like, these people are just like regular people, they're goofballs. They're doing crazy stuff. What's that one guy's name? They're just crazy, they're goofballs. You know what I mean? I don't care if they're in Hollywood or anything. They're just goofballs. Like I'm like, this is a really ugly world. You guys are making the world seem really good. Cool, keep going. But it was new. Like they had personality and all that stuff. So I'm like, after 9-year mark, and I've been studying YouTube, by the way. I've been studying it, and I've allowed myself to be the same thing as other people, which I don't want to go fast. I want to learn. And what I've realized is after about year 9 or 10. On Patreon with a fan base of, you know, you could possibly make like 200,000, you know, a year off of Patreon alone. So me putting out music, if you put out Patreon underneath every link, you're gonna make a lot of money. Like, oh no, you wouldn't. See, that's what that's why I'm getting angry. Like I just told you, like in some way, shape, or form, if you put out songs, someone is listening. Someone. It could be the guy that wants you arrested, but somebody is listening. We want to find out what he. You know what I mean? They could say it's mandatory for every NC. I think it's mandatory for you guys to prioritize good music from the class of people that you're around. Like, give them. I've never hated on Mike Stud because there's been a couple really good songs that he has, and I know some people go, oh, there's secret agendas and all this stuff. Listen, the reason why I really love musicians and I really want to meet, and I respect Soulja Boy. I want to meet Ruby Rose because if you listen to her interview or her videos on YouTube, I know I'm kind of like going off. She's like one of the first real women that sees the world the same way as me, that understands everything that I'm saying. And what I mean by that is she's a very articulate person. And we're like in the kingdom, so like everyone's approach, like I'm gonna get hated for this, but everyone who did music was right. Everyone, you're right. And you have to hear for a long time how you're wrong. So in some way, shape, or form, Mike Stud is right. And I know past, like, no, he's right if we say, I said, you have to understand, like, the universe is doing push and pull. So while you do forgive, sometimes you do cast the punishment on people. So it's like, you can't sit here and say every single time that, you know what I mean? Like, no, and I'm being specific when I say it. Like, in some way, shape, or form, they were right. They were right the entire time. And you're going to see why eventually, but if Mike stays in it, you're going to see why his decisions were right. I think it's more like he could just change the cover. I'm being serious. Like he could just change the color. We know that's not can of soda, Mike. That's not a can of soda, but in some way, shape, or form, he's right. It's like marijuana. Why is he talking about marijuana? Why are these rappers talking about marijuana? Maybe they were talking about marijuana. I'm kidding. The point of what I'm getting to is you're going to realize in some way, shape, or form that those people were right. In some way, shape, or form. So I'm digressing to the main point of why I made this video. But the spread is Scarlett Johansson is in my timeline for real. Our timeline with me and Scarlett Johansson, I'm just going to be honest with you. She's a high quality person. And what I'm insinuating is she's a high quality person. So there's going to be some chemistry, and I think we're gonna have a real timeline. Real timeline, I mean, I'm gonna just switch everyone. I had to do this music and switch it to where I'm their favorite celebrity, which means that instead of it being from their perspective, I wanted to kind of make myself bigger regardless. Why? Because when I'm around them, like I wanted to change that. You know, for the first time, I wanted to change, and even with Elon, well, and even with music. So I wanted to do that. And when I'm around her, it's like on the piano or like just saying things about that you would never think. Like I would tell them, you know, they told me my entire life this, and this about you. Like, is this, and this true? Right? It'll be stuff like that. You're like, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, that's what I had to hear. And I set my life up also, this is feedback and critique. I set up my life to where, because I think of it like this. The hardest thing for me was hearing what these people say about you guys prematurely, and then like having to kind of like look at them and be like, ah, man, like they really did say the wrong information, like about everything. So think of like 10 years as like the 80s or the 90s. Whatever they were saying about that era wasn't true. You can see it because there's data to support it. One is like Michelle